A house built to confuse the dead. A lighthouse that never stopped watching. Stone commandments for humanity, erased in a single night. A shadow that moves faster than fear. From cursed ground where nothing grows to moments when reality itself begins to fracture. These are not myths. These are American stories. 10 stories where the past, mystery, and the unknown converge. In San Jose, California, there stands a mansion that feels less like a home and more like a puzzle built by fear. The Winchester Mystery House was created by Sarah Winchester, widow of the famous rifle inventor. Construction began in 1884 and continued non-stop for 38 years until her death in 1922. But this was no ordinary building project. Sarah believed she was haunted by the spirits of people killed by Winchester firearms. To confuse them, she ordered workers to keep adding strange new rooms, doors, and staircases day and night. The result became a true architectural labyrinth. The house contains 160 rooms, 2,000 doors, and 10,000 windows. Staircases lead straight into ceilings. Doors open to empty walls or sudden drops. Hallways twist without reason. Even today, visitors easily lose their way inside. Local legends claim Sarah received instructions from the dead during nightly seances. Every bizarre feature of the mansion was supposedly designed to trap ghosts. American newspapers of the early 1900s documented her obsession and the endless chaotic remodeling. After Sarah passed away, the mansion was preserved exactly as she left it. Engineers and historians studied the structure in California and across the U.S., trying to explain its illogical design. None could find a practical purpose. Tour guides report unexplained footsteps echoing through sealed corridors. Lights flicker in rooms with no electricity. Security cameras capture shadows moving where no one is allowed. Whether the mansion truly holds spirits or only the mind of a frightened woman, one fact is beyond doubt. The Winchester Labyrinth is real. The house exists, the documents exist, and the strange maze Sarah built to escape the past remains one of the most unsettling places in America. In April 2006, 27-year-old medical student Brian Shaffer went out with friends to the Ugly Tuna Saloon, a bar located on the second floor of a building near Ohio State University. What happened next remains one of the most baffling disappearances in modern American history. Security cameras clearly recorded Brian entering the bar. They also recorded everyone else leaving that night, but Brian was never seen exiting. The bar had only one public entrance, constantly monitored by cameras. No footage ever showed him leaving. Inside, Brian spoke with friends, laughed, and even chatted with 2 women shortly before closing time. Around 2 a.m., his friends left the bar. Brian stayed behind, telling them he would catch up later. He never did. Police searched the building thoroughly. There were no signs of a struggle. No emergency exits were triggered. No alarms went off. Despite repeated reviews of surveillance footage, investigators could not find a single frame showing Brian leaving the bar. His phone continued to ring for months after his disappearance. Years later, it briefly connected to cell towers in Ohio, yet no calls were answered. Brian's bank accounts and social media remained untouched. The case drew national attention in the United States. Investigators considered voluntary disappearance, accident, and foul play, but no theory fit the evidence. Even private investigators hired by the family reached dead ends. Today, Brian Shaffer has never been found.
no body, no confirmed sightings, no explanation. A man walked into a bar surrounded by cameras and vanished as if he had never existed.
On the coast of Florida stands the St. Augustine Lighthouse, one of the oldest and most photographed landmarks in the United States. Built in 1874, the black and white tower has guided ships safely for generations, but according to hundreds of witnesses, something else is still guarding it. Late at night, visitors and staff have reported seeing shadowy figures moving along the spiral staircase and the keeper's house. These apparitions are known locally as the Sentinels of St. Augustine. People claim they appear like former lighthouse workers, silently checking the grounds as if their shift never ended. The location has a long, tragic history. In 1873, before the current tower was completed, 2 young daughters of a construction superintendent drowned on the site when a cart they were playing on rolled into the bay. Many believe their spirits are among those seen near the lighthouse, laughing faintly in the darkness. Paranormal investigators have recorded unexplained footsteps, doors closing by themselves, and strange voices captured on audio devices. Tour groups often refuse to climb to the top after sunset because of the chilling atmosphere inside the tower. Even seasoned employees admit they feel watched when they lock up for the night. Some have quit after encountering things they could not explain. Official records confirm accidents and deaths around the property, yet none of them account for the ghostly guardians still seen today. The St. Augustine Lighthouse remains fully operational. The light still shines, the tourists still come, and every midnight, the Sentinels are said to make their rounds once more. In Elbert County, Georgia, a strange monument once rose from an open field, like something left behind by an unknown civilization. The Georgia Guidestones were erected on March 22, 1980. Massive granite slabs formed a structure aligned with the sun, the moon, and the stars. No one knew who truly built it. The project was commissioned by a mysterious man using the pseudonym R.C. Christian. He claimed to represent a secret group that wanted to leave instructions for humanity after a future catastrophe. Local banks, builders, and newspapers documented the construction, but the real identities behind the funding were never revealed. Carved into the stones were 10 unsettling commandments written in 8 languages, including English. The first message shocked everyone. Maintain humanity under 500 million in perpetual balance with nature. Other lines spoke of guiding reproduction, creating a world court, and establishing a new global order. Many Americans believed the monument promoted population control and occult ideas. Religious leaders called it satanic. Conspiracy theorists said it was a blueprint for a post-apocalyptic society ruled by elites. Tourists visited from across the United States and Canada, trying to decode hidden meanings. Engineers studied the astronomical alignments and confirmed their precision, yet none of this explained why the stones existed in the first place. For decades, the Guidestones stood as a silent riddle in rural Georgia, proof that someone, somewhere, had a very dark vision of the future. In July 2022, the monument was suddenly destroyed in an unexplained act of vandalism, adding one final mystery to its already disturbing history. The field remains, the documents remain, but the truth about who tried to guide humanity with these stones is still missing. Deep in the wilderness of Alaska, surrounded by glaciers and endless mountains, lies the abandoned town of Kennicott. It was founded in 1903 after one of the richest copper deposits in American history was discovered in the Wrangell-St. Elias region. For decades, Kennicott thrived as a booming mining community.
By the 1910s, the Kennicott Copper Corporation built enormous red wooden mills, railroads, and worker housing. At its peak, the town produced millions of dollars worth of copper every year and attracted laborers from across the United States, Canada, and Great Britain. But the prosperity did not last forever. In 1938, the copper veins finally ran dry. Company officials ordered an immediate shutdown. Families were told to pack their belongings and leave. Trains carried the last residents away, and Kennicott was simply abandoned to the cold Alaskan wind. What remained looked like a place trapped outside of time. Schools, offices, and homes were left fully furnished. Tools still hang on walls. Old calendars are frozen on dates from the 1930s. Even today, visitors feel as if the workers might return at any moment. American newspapers and corporate records confirm the exact timeline of the town's rise and fall. Historians studied the site and preserved it as part of a U.S. National Historic Landmark. Yet none of that removes the eerie feeling of walking through silent streets where thousands once lived. Every summer, tourists hike to Kennicott, expecting a museum. Instead, they find something more unsettling: a real American community that vanished overnight, leaving behind only empty buildings and unanswered questions. In the summer of 1939, residents of Provincetown, Massachusetts began reporting something they could not explain. At night, a tall, dark figure was seen moving through the streets at impossible speed. Witnesses said it didn't walk or run, it flashed from one place to another in seconds. Locals soon gave it a name: the Black Flash. According to police reports and newspaper articles from the time, dozens of people claimed to encounter the figure. It was described as pitch black, human-shaped, and unnaturally fast. Some witnesses said it chased them. Others claimed it stood motionless before vanishing instantly, as if it had never been there. What terrified people most was its strength. Several reports stated that fences were bent, doors torn from hinges, and footprints left that were far too deep for a normal human. Dogs refused to approach areas where the Black Flash had been seen. Even hardened fishermen avoided going out at night. Local authorities attempted to catch whoever or whatever was responsible. Patrols were increased, but no suspect was ever arrested. The sightings continued for weeks and then stopped as suddenly as they began. No explanation was ever given. Some believe the Black Flash was an escaped mental patient. Others claim it was a mass hallucination fueled by fear. A few researchers suggest something far stranger: an unknown biological anomaly or an early case of what we would now call a cryptid. Provincetown returned to normal, but the reports remain preserved in American archives. To this day, no one has proven what the Black Flash truly was, only that for one summer, an entire town believed something inhuman was hunting them after dark. In the forests of Chatham County, North Carolina, there is a perfectly round patch of land where nothing grows. No grass, no weeds, no trees, just bare, lifeless soil, as if the ground itself is cursed. Locals call this place the Devil's Tramping Ground. For centuries, people have noticed that plants refuse to take root here. Seeds won't sprout. Grass dies within days. Even when fresh soil is brought in, it turns barren again. Farmers tried fencing it off. Scientists took samples. No explanation has ever fully satisfied anyone. But the legends are darker than the science. According to local folklore, the devil walks this circle at night, pacing endlessly as he plans evil deeds. His footsteps burn the ground, poisoning it so nothing can live. Some claim to hear heavy footsteps after midnight. Others report seeing a dark figure moving just beyond the tree line. There are older stories, too. Native American legends warned of a cursed ground long before settlers arrived. Animals reportedly avoid the area entirely. Dogs refuse to enter the circle, pulling away in fear. The most disturbing accounts come from campers. Several people claimed that when they placed objects inside the circle overnight, bottles, tools, even tents, they were violently thrown far outside the ring by morning. Others said compasses spin wildly near the center. To this day, the circle remains empty. No one has proven it's supernatural. No one has proven it's not. And that silence is what makes it terrifying.
In March 1997, police entered a quiet mansion in Rancho Santa Fe, California, and discovered one of the most disturbing scenes in American history. Inside were 39 bodies neatly arranged on bunk beds. All were dressed the same. All wore identical black sneakers, and every single one had willingly taken their own life. This was Heaven's Gate. The group was led by Marshall Applewhite, a former music professor who believed he was a messenger sent from a higher evolutionary level. He taught that Earth was about to be recycled and that human bodies were merely temporary containers. According to Applewhite, salvation would arrive aboard a spacecraft hiding behind the Hale-Bopp comet. Members believed that by shedding their physical bodies at the right moment, their consciousness would be transported to that ship, where they would evolve into immortal, non-human beings. What makes Heaven's Gate especially terrifying is how calm and organized it was. There were no weapons, no signs of struggle. The members recorded farewell messages, smiling and thanking Applewhite for showing them the truth. Some had given up families, careers, and entire lives to follow the doctrine. They lived communally, cut off from society, reinforcing each other's beliefs until doubt no longer existed. When the comet passed Earth, they believed the door was open. They drank poison, lay down, and waited for ascension. The spacecraft never came, but the website they created explaining their beliefs is still online today, frozen in time, waiting. In November 2004, something happened off the coast of California that would later force the U.S. government to admit a terrifying truth. Fighter pilots from the USS Nimitz Carrier Strike Group detected an object on radar that behaved in ways no known aircraft could. It had no wings, no visible propulsion, no exhaust. Pilots described it as a smooth, white, oval-shaped object, roughly the size of a jet, later nicknamed the Tic Tac. When Commander David Fravor approached it in his fighter jet, the object reacted instantly. It mirrored his movements, then accelerated away at a speed that defied physics, disappearing from radar in seconds. Moments later, the object reappeared 60 miles away, exactly at a secret military rendezvous point, a location it should not have known. Multiple radar systems tracked it. Multiple pilots saw it with their own eyes. Infrared sensors recorded its movement. Years later, in 2017, the Pentagon officially confirmed the incident, releasing reports and acknowledging the object as an unidentified aerial phenomenon. They admitted they could not explain how it moved, how it stayed airborne, or where it came from. No country has claimed the technology, no test program has been identified, and no explanation has been provided. The encounter remains classified in many aspects, and according to the pilots involved, whatever that object was, it wasn't human technology. Across the United States, thousands of people have reported moments when reality itself seemed to break. These incidents are often called glitches in the matrix, and what makes them disturbing is how ordinary they begin. People describe walking down familiar streets only to suddenly find buildings missing, roads rearranged, or entire neighborhoods that never existed before. In Chicago, multiple commuters independently reported the same event,
a subway station appearing fully operational, lights on, trains arriving, despite the station being officially closed for years. In Los Angeles, drivers have described cars ahead of them vanishing instantly, with no exits, no turns, and no accidents. In rural Texas, families have reported loved ones entering a room and never coming out, later reappearing hours or days later, confused, claiming no time had passed. Police reports exist, 911 calls exist, security camera gaps exist. In some cases, clocks stop. In others, identical strangers repeat the same sentences word for word. And sometimes people encounter versions of places or people that should not exist. Psychologists often blame stress or memory failure. Physicists suggest rare perceptual anomalies, but none can explain why separate witnesses in different cities with no connection report nearly identical details. These are not legends passed down online. Many reports come from official records, local news, and sworn testimony. Whatever causes these glitches, they suggest that reality may not be as stable as we believe, and sometimes it slips.
If any of these stories stayed with you, share your thoughts below. Like, subscribe, and maybe your story will be next.